Alright guys, we got the confirmation of fire pit design. Obviously this is just laid out roughly right now, but we are going to be doing a square with what these pieces of granite are actually side walls. They're called jumpers for when you do a set of solid granite stairs. They're the ones that go on the side for the big landing and step pieces of granite to sit on. But we had a bunch of them. It's a nice rough face look, but so we're gonna make a small square out of it, too high like you see here. We got to obviously cut them all to fit nicely. We'll be staggering the joints and just leaving split faces on the outside. All right, we are into the fire pit build itself. If you're a new viewer and you haven't seen any of the videos from this playlist, make sure you check it out and see how we got to where we are now. But as I was explaining earlier, these are jumpers, they're called. Granite pieces that you use on the sides when building a solid granite landing or platform, however you want to call it. But the one downside is they don't come very uniform, so when using them in a project like this, there's a lot of customization. But I'm going to let you guys sit back and see how I customize these stones with my Throw and Hold and chisel, as well as my steel TS 420 cutoff saw. So stay tuned and see how we keep going on this project, and I will explain things as we go. Alright guys, so the question of why are we using these stones for this fire pit is, if you're in this industry, you know that after a while you can end up having a lot of material just hanging around at the shop. Stuff that you don't really want to get rid of, but it's hard to find a use for. So we've had these pieces of granite laying around for a while, and we figured that it was a perfect material to use for a little fire pit idea like this. There's a little customization, as you're seeing, that we had to do to make it work, but we got to use the material that's been laying around and put it to good use and come up with a nice product. So that's why we use this.
Shoots backwards, dude. Soaks you. Straight edge. That's good.
Alright everyone, we got the first course dry laid. Got to still get it all perfectly squared up to where it wants to be. Just want to show you, guys have been seeing me do some hand chiseling on these pieces and stuff. Mostly because these pieces are all really varied with widths and lengths. But so something like this, we just make a nice mark. And that's what I'm going to hit with the chisel to kind of make it mesh with this other piece better. So just want to show you guys that real quick. Better, Benny. So that's our after result. And they're both same width. Looks good. Looks good. So we're gonna kind of make our last final adjustments on this row to where it needs to be, and then we're gonna also cut and dry lay the second row before we start doing any finalization. So stay tuned, guys. All right, guys, we got it all lined up to exactly where we want to be. So we're gonna dry stack the second layer on it, make our cuts. That's what we got. One more layer, then we'll take the top layer off. We'll level off the bottom layer on the 3/4 inch stone, and then stack the second layer on. And then once it's all built and level, we're gonna concrete the bottom edge around the outside and the inside of the fire pit to hold everything in. So that's the plan, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we are moving along on this project. If you're subscribed and you've been keeping up with this playlist, thank you very much for your support. If you're a new viewer and this is the first video you've seen of mine and you're enjoying it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I have a lot of content just like this, as well as landscape construction, excavation, and snow plowing as well. So check out the channel and see all those videos that we have to offer. But anyway, we are just going to keep continuing. We got our first row dry laid, all set. So now it's a matter of taking one stone at a time and finishing up our second row, so that we'll be able to glue the second row down and concrete the edges around the outside and the inside of this fire pit so we can lock everything in place. Alright, guys, we'll chip another one in regular time. This one's just a lot wider, so we're gonna cut it back a little bit. So what I'm using, guys, is a carbide tip, about 1 1/8 inch carbide slanted tip, slanted forward, and that's the way I'm hitting it, with the slant going forward and the chisel at a good angle, good degree backwards. This wouldn't work so well with just a regular steel tipped blade, or chisel, I mean. Tracer chisel with a carbide tip as well for the spots that are still a little too deep. There's that. Sees the gooseneck shadow on the camera. You see it? How's that? Alright guys, we're making some of our final adjustments here, and you'll see I got a lot of chipping to do. We're getting to the point where we're using the pieces we didn't quite want to use, but it is what it is. I actually love hand chiseling stone like this. It's very fun and satisfying to me for some reason. I don't know what you guys think, but anyway, I'm going to let you guys go on a nice time lapse and some music here as we finish up all our customizing, and then I'll keep you informed on what we're going to be doing next here after this time lapse. Alright guys, fire pit's done. 99.99% done. It's a nice fire pit. Nice fire pit. I'm going to adhere the top row down to the bottom row using just concrete/rock adhesive. The one I'm using right now, there's a lot of different manufacturers out there with this stuff, but SRW. So that's what we're going to use. Retaining walls, pavers, concrete, natural stone, fire pits. So that's what we're going to use. Throw you in a time lapse and do that real quick. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We have our SRW concrete adhesive, which is actually made and designed for like concrete block fire pits for adhering those rows or layers together, and it withstands against heat pretty well. So that's the material we use for this kind of project, and you know, once it does set, you guys would be pretty surprised. If you haven't used them, you'd be pretty surprised at how strong this adhesive is. But anyway, we're going to use that to adhere the top row to the bottom row. And as you're going to see next, we're going to dig a little bit of a trench around the whole outer edge like this, and we're going to fill that in with concrete and use it, install it at a little bit of a slope. And what this outer edge of concrete's going to do is lock everything in together on the bottom so that nothing can move. And we're also going to do the same thing on the inside of the fire pit. We're going to put concrete on the inside of the bottom row. And what that's going to do is lock in the first row so it doesn't move, and then the second row, with it being adhered onto it, won't move as well. And we're trying to make sure that we put this fabric down with the concrete at the same time. And also we're going to pretty much work this pea stone into the concrete on the edge as well. That way that the concrete won't ever be revealed. The pea stone itself will be mixed right in with the concrete, so you won't ever see this concrete. And again, it's something that you definitely have to do so that these stones don't move or shift over time. And it's a cheap insurance policy. Concrete's really not that expensive. So, but anyway, it's all about the little details, guys. You know, pay attention to detail. We needed a lot of customizing, hand chiseling and stuff, and it's not supposed to be a perfectly clean look like a concrete block fire pit. You know, this is just natural granite. And again, it was something that the customer had agreed upon using this material, and they like it, and it goes with the natural boulder wall pretty good. And if you guys check out the next video, it's going to be how we installed those gray granite cobblestones that you're kind of seeing on the edges of this video now. And that's going to wrap up this playlist after the cobblestone. So if you haven't seen the other videos that got us to where we are now, make sure you go check those out in the playlist. Hit that like and subscribe for me. It goes a long way. And I guess until the next video, guys, God bless.